Most importantly, you should know what your objective is in life. I was born in Detroit, Michigan. About 6 months after I was born, my father, along with my mother, they took me in a basket on a train to Rochester, New York. My father was in the investment business. It was a very difficult time because it was in the middle of the Depression. My mother was a very attentive mother, and then we moved out to a place called Pittsford, and I lived there from the time I was about 5 years old till our family moved to Cincinnati in 1941. After high school, I went to Dartmouth College, and a man came up from Boston dressed in his Navy uniform with wings, and he said, if you freshmen sign up to be Navy pilots in June, you'll start your training. I was a replacement pilot, which meant that when a carrier lost a pilot, I had orders to take his place, and I would stay on that carrier until they got a permanent replacement. And I was on 8 different carriers during a 3-year period.
You begin to break down really what John was being asked to do. It's fairly amazing. He was flying a torpedo bomber off carriers in the Pacific, oftentimes at night, with no navigation and radio silence.
When you're flying from an aircraft carrier, both taking off and landing, you don't fall asleep doing it. The Navy experience taught me how to get along with people, how to respect what they were doing, and try to help in any way that I could. I had worked for about 6 months for a firm called Atkins & Pierce. They made candle wicks. My father, who came to me and said, would you like to join our family business? I said, yes, I would, if I could eventually be a stockholder in the business. He said, well, I don't think that would be a problem. So I joined the company. That was Hilltop Building Materials, and we were in the business of selling equipment to contractors. We were also in the ready-mix concrete business.
John took over the company in the mid-1960s when his father passed away. John always felt that the company should be using the latest technology in the business and had the wisdom and the courage to make the investments necessary to ensure that was the case. You can look at virtually any structure here in Cincinnati, and there's a very, very high probability that structure was built with Hilltop concrete. When it was time for that next generation of leadership to take over, John was gracious enough to step into a supporting role and allow the next generation to continue to grow the business.
How are you doing? Good. I said to him when he wanted me to stay, I'd be happy to stay, but I will do it under one condition. I don't want to be in management and tell you young people how to run the business. So you give me assignments, and that's what they did.
John, to this day, still comes into the office, even at the age of 93, but he is very diligent about making sure he's ready for the Romeos.
Romeo stands for Retired Old Men Eating Out. We meet every Friday at noon, and we talk about all kinds of subjects. Greatest influence in my life, I would say, were my 2 wives. And one was with me for 20 years. And we had 4 children. That mother was very, very attentive to the children. She saw to it that we did things the right way. And she and I were in an automobile heading for a weekend party in Michigan. And I was driving the car. There was a guy coming down the road. It was a divided highway. He came in the wrong direction, and he hit our car head on. My wife was killed instantly. When I woke up, I was at a hospital in Toledo.
Within a year, he was married again and happily married again. And you know, that's not easy for men to bounce back like that.
From the time I married my second wife, Leela, she had been to Maine. From the time she was born, we used to drive straight through. But the gas gauge on the car wasn't working well, and we ran out of gas. From that day on, we never drove straight through without stopping at a place we called the Inn at Turkey Hill.
To this day, John still drives up to Camden, Maine to stop at the Turkey Hill Inn to say hello and get reacquainted and updated with the proprietors of that inn. It's a testament to how important relationships are to him that he does those types of things.
People like John Steele set a tone for the rest of us in Cincinnati. And it's an inspirational tone. It's a tone of hard work, honesty, high ethical standards. Cincinnati is a better place because of his contributions to the city.
John has been involved in many civic and philanthropic activities. John has touched so many lives in this community.
He is part of that very special cadre of people here in Cincinnati that just give unselfishly.
It's home. It's where my business has taken place. It's where my family have lived. People are loyal to the city. It's a special place.
I so admire the fact the Chamber of Commerce named John Steele as a great living Cincinnatian because of his contribution to the city, his contribution to his employees, his contribution to his country, and his contribution to the charitable institutions in this town. And in watching him with his 4 beautiful children, it's just a joy to see that Cincinnati is recognizing such a fine individual.
I'm very proud of my kids and what they do, and I'm proud of our company and the people in it and what they've done to make it a success.